I made a video before Assassin's Creed Origins came out called Why I Think Assassin's Creed Origins Won't Be Better Than The Witcher 3, and the video got a mixed reaction. The one thing that kind of annoyed me was how people were saying Assassin's Creed Origins wasn't meant to be better than The Witcher 3, or why are you comparing the two games? They're completely different. Firstly, any company that develops open world games would love to have a game that is better than The Witcher 3. Saying that their intention wasn't to make a game better than The Witcher 3 is simply wrong. The whole reason they changed the formula of Assassin's Creed is because of how well The Witcher 3 did. So you saying that the intention was not to make AC Origins better is complete bullshit. Secondly, they're both in the same genre of games, open world RPGs. Comparing the two is completely fair. I can't think of two games that are more perfect for comparison. So telling me that comparing the two games is unfair is ridiculous. I've seen people say you can't compare the two because it's Ubisoft's first full RPG, and of course it's not going to be as good as The Witcher 3. I just want to say that The Witcher 3 was CD Projekt Red's first full open world game, and they're a smaller studio with less funds and a lower amount of employees, so Ubisoft don't get a free pass there. Anyway, now I've got my small rant out of the way, let's get on to the topic of today's video. Assassin's Creed Origins versus The Witcher 3. Which one offers the better open world experience? Which one has the best combat or the best side quests? Well, today I'm going to attempt to answer that question with my own opinions. I can't stress enough, this video is all of my opinion. If you disagree with me, then you should fuck off. If you disagree with me, then you should 1. Let me know why in the comments, and 2. Realize that I'm not shitting on your opinion. Also, just to make this comparison fair, I'm going to be comparing the base game of The Witcher 3 with the base game of Assassin's Creed Origins, no DLC included. It would be unfair to compare Origins to the full experience of The Witcher 3 because Origins DLCs haven't come out yet. Just thought I'd clear that up. Anyway, without further ado, let's get straight into today's video, in which we're going to be comparing Assassin's Creed Origins and The Witcher 3. Both Assassin's Creed Origins and The Witcher 3 both have incredibly in-depth open world experiences. One offers an incredibly realistic recreation of ancient Egypt of amazing scope. Origins is definitely the open world of highest quality we've seen in Assassin's Creed. On the other hand, The Witcher 3 offers a variety of open world areas such as White Orchard, Velen, Novigrad and Skellige, all of which are fairly large and offer a wide range of things to do. Firstly, I thought we'd start off by talking about ancient Egypt. Origins offers the whole of Lower Egypt, which is half a country, so it's safe to say that Origins is much bigger than The Witcher 3. However, bigger isn't always better. The map is absolutely beautiful, with deserts to cross, tombs to discover, and huge buildings to scale. If there's one thing Origins can be praised for, it's the beautiful open world that it offers. The map is also extremely diverse, with large expanses of desert, swamps, ocean, and also huge cities. There is never a dull moment when exploring the map of Assassin's Creed Origins. There's always something to look at that makes you think, wow, that's fucking beautiful. Not only is it a breathtakingly beautiful rendition of ancient Egypt, but it's just generally an insanely detailed and well thought out open world. It's a tough one to beat. One of the problems that Origins faces is that the map is absolutely huge, and some people would argue that it's too big. I'd argue that quality over quantity is very important when it comes to open world games, and games like Horizon Zero Dawn and Skyrim both have pretty small maps, but they're made to feel big because of the content that the games offer. It's better to have a smaller map and to focus all of the content in a small concentrated area, opposed to having a huge map in which quests are few and far between. However, I don't think that Origins suffers from this, and there's plenty of content to complement the huge size of the map. The Witcher 3 offers 3 different open world areas: White Orchard, the starting area, Velen, which contains the swampy areas, and Novigrad, and Skellige, which is the snowy mountainous region with lots of different islands. The Witcher 3 has a huge variety of regions, all of which are very big. Skellige feels completely different to Velen, and that's important in an open world game. If you get tired of one region, you can travel to the other one, and honestly, the experience feels very different. There are different monster and human enemies in Skellige than what you would find in Velen, which further differentiates the two regions. Velen and Skellige both are huge maps, so it's not like there's little to explore. You can find huge mountains, small villages, large cities, and underground ruins in The Witcher 3, and exploration is definitely a huge part of the game. The game also looks beautiful too. The different environments are breathtaking and detailed, filled with NPCs and other forms of life. Much like Assassin's Creed Origins, there really is never a dull moment in The Witcher 3. The atmosphere of the game overall is chilling, and the art style is fantastic. fantastic. The game was inspired by medieval Poland, so it's very dark and dead in some areas, but given The Witcher's fantasy universe, there are some places in the game that are light and filled with life. This contrast is present when comparing the bustling city of Novigrad to the harsh bogs of Velen or the treacherous mountains of Skellige. The Witcher 3's open world really is fantastic. It's diverse, huge, and there are many things to explore. It's definitely one of the best open world experiences you can get. Overall though, personally for me, AC Origins wins in the open world department. I loved my time playing The Witcher 3, but I was never left with such awe in that game as I was when traversing the golden sand dunes in Assassin's Creed Origins. The sheer breadth of Origins makes it an easy win for me. Not to say that The Witcher 3 doesn't have an amazing open world, because it really does. It's one of the richest open world experiences you can have. I'm saying that Origins just has that edge for me due to how effectively Ubisoft managed to pull off the beautiful recreation of ancient Egypt. Both of these games have incredible side quests that are fun and engaging. Both have hundreds of hours of content available in their respective open worlds, so it's going to be tough to decide which one is better, but first let's talk about Origins. Assassin's Creed Origins, given its map size, has a very impressive array of content available. Ubisoft managed to fill the open world with content this time, opposed to making a large map with nothing in it. Apart from the standard side quests in which you help strangers, Origins has bandit camps, animal lairs, hidden treasures, tombs, gladiator arenas, chariot racing, bosses called Phylakes that you can find in the open world, and Trial of the Gods. It's safe to say there is not a shortage of content in this game. The actual exclamation mark side quests that are in the game are fine, but they're nothing special in my opinion. There is some memorable ones in there, but not nearly as many memorable quests as in The Witcher 3. Not to say they aren't good, because I think that they're very engaging side quests, it's just where Origins shines is the other activities in the world, such as the gladiator arena or the Phylakes or the Trial of the Gods. These are much more enjoyable than the standard side quests, and they really help flesh out the open world, especially because they offer powerful weapons and gear in return for your effort. The side quests in Origins are amazing, but I feel as if they focus too hard on making hundreds of them, opposed to focusing the quality into a smaller amount. A lot of the side quests just consist of walking somewhere, killing some guards, rescuing someone from a cage, then returning them to the quest giver, and I feel like this somewhat gives the illusion of quality content. Just because there are a lot of quests doesn't mean that it's amazing. It actually means the developers have to focus less on each individual quest and more on churning out as many as possible. I think this was one of Origin's main problems. Other than that though, the rest of the side content is extremely fun. The side quests in The Witcher 3 are not only incredibly fun, but are also split off from the main story sometimes, meaning that the stuff that happens in the main quest creates side quests for main characters. This in turn means that Geralt builds his relationship with these characters, which I think is a really nice way of doing some of the side quests. I think if Origins had some side quests that focus on Aya and Bayek, it would do wonders for the building of the characters. The Witcher 3 also has the standard quests for strangers that you find in every RPG, but these quests actually have mini stories intertwined in them, which just means they're a lot more engaging than anything you'd find in Origins. There are unique characters in each quest that have their own problems and personalities, which makes the quest itself feel more worthwhile. The Witcher offers activities besides the regular side quests, such as Witcher contracts, monster dens, guarded treasure, horse races, brawling, and one of my personal favourites being Gwent, which is the game's built-in card game, which is actually really fucking fun. So fun that it got its own standalone game. I think that the side content in The Witcher 3 is incredibly difficult to beat. It's just of such high quality and there are so many memorable experiences in there. In my main save on The Witcher 3, I've completed every side quest and Witcher contract that there is to do, and I enjoyed every moment of it. For me, The Witcher 3 wins in terms of side quests. As much as I think that the side activities in Origins are great, I just think there's too much focus on quantity in that game. CD Projekt Red managed to make hundreds of hours of side content whilst also keeping that high level of quality. That's something that is incredibly hard to balance in an open world game, and for that reason The Witcher 3 wins. The combat is a very important part in open world RPGs like Origins and The Witcher, so it's very important that the developers get this aspect right. First, we're going to jump into Assassin's Creed Origins combat system. The combat in Assassin's Creed Origins is a touchy subject for many people. You either love it or you hate it. I personally really like the combat in this game. I can see where people are coming from when they say they dislike it. It's not perfect at all, nor does it look amazing, but it gets the job done and it functions better than previous AC games. In the past, Assassin's Creed games have all had a paired animation combat system, which means that when you hit X or square to attack, the character would align themselves with the enemy, an attack animation would play, and the enemy would take damage. However, in Assassin's Creed Origins, there's a hitbox based system, which means that you have to be near the enemy to hit them and you have to be looking in the correct direction to make contact with them. This combat system is much more precise and versatile because it allows you to hit multiple enemies at once or use different weapons to your advantage, opposed to every weapon just being a reskin of each other with different animations. This system is also much more challenging than previous ACs. In other games, you could just counter and combo your way to victory. In Origins, however, there is actually a certain degree of skill required to come out on top. Multiple enemies can attack you at once, enemies can throw smoke bombs or drop back and shoot you with arrows, then they can break your defense with heavy attacks and string combos on you. Not only are you more capable, but your enemies are too, which makes for a much more engaging combat system than previous games, but also just a generally great combat system that is fun and that works. There are also a variety of tools that you can use apart from your melee weapons such as bows, fire bombs or smoke bombs, as well as being able to parry and block with your shield. Overall, the Origins combat system may not look great, but it sure does feel great to play and you get used to it very quickly. The Witcher 3's combat system. Basically, take everything I said about Assassin's Creed Origins combat system and polish everything up, improve animations, and improve the overall flow of the combat itself, and then you have The Witcher 3's combat system. Seriously, the combat in The Witcher 3 is as smooth as butter, and on top of that, it looks absolutely amazing. Fair enough, sometimes it looks odd if you dodge too much, but that's not the fault of the combat itself, that's the fault of the person playing. Fights between human enemies and monster enemies feel drastically different. You find yourself parrying against human enemies and dodging monster enemies because they have a wider area of attack. Also, you can't parry monster enemies. Amongst the diversity of enemy types, throw in signs, potions, weapon oils, and bombs, and you've got yourself a really in-depth combat system with many methods of attack. There are so many ways of attacking and weakening your enemy with weapons and tools that there is never a dull moment when you're fighting monsters or humans. I really love the depth of the combat in The Witcher 3. It's definitely the best combat I've come across in an open world RPG, and for that reason, The Witcher wins the combat round. Don't get me wrong, I really love the combat in both these games, but the polish, flow, and depth of the combat in The Witcher 3 just surpasses that of Origins, and I hope that Assassin's Creed reaches this level of polish in the next game. Customization is also integral to an open world RPG. You need to be able to fit your character out with a variety of different outfits, gear, and weapons. An RPG progression system gives players an incentive to do high level quests and missions in order to get the best gear in the game. The customization in Origins is ideal in my opinion. You have certain sections of gear that you can upgrade: hidden blade, quiver, stabilizer glove, bracer, breastplate, and tool pouch. And then you have an outfit that goes underneath it all that can be changed to what you think looks like the best. The armor itself isn't cosmetic. Yeah, fair enough, there are a few cosmetic changes as you upgrade the armor, but on the whole, the actual outfit is the cosmetic item. This means that players can wear whatever they like without fear of it not having the best stats, because it has no stats at all. The armor rating comes from upgrading your breastplate, which goes over the outfit that you're wearing, or the damage that your hidden blade does is determined by the upgrades you've applied to your hidden blade, not which bracer you're wearing. I think this is a very good system to have, because it means players can be satisfied with how their character looks as well as the stats their gear has. On top of this, there are many weapons at your disposal, such as regular swords, sickle swords, dual swords, heavy blunts, heavy blades, scepters, spears, as well as an unarmed option. There are also 4 archetypes of bows, called the hunter bows, light bows, warrior bows, and predator bows. In addition to all of these weapons, there are also many shields you can use which offer different special abilities like bleeding, poison, and and sleep, as well as different tools that Bayek can use. So there are a lot of things to customize, so let's go over it. You can customize your character by upgrading your gear, changing your outfit, mount, bow, melee weapons, and the tools you can use. You can also choose a variety of different abilities from the skill tree to further personalize your character, which adds another layer to the customization in the game. It's a fairly simple skill tree, but it gets the job done and offers choice for the player as to which skills they're going to invest in and where. I personally love the way customization was handled in Assassin's Creed Origins, and more open world developers should go down the route that Ubisoft have with Origins. The customization in The Witcher 3 definitely is in depth. You've got a choice of what armor, weapons, crossbow, potions, and bombs you use, and all of these things can be crafted from materials you find in the open world, but we'll get to crafting later. The armor in The Witcher 3 is more customizable because each piece can be swapped out, these pieces being gauntlets, chest armor, leg armor, and boots. The only problem is, the armor with the better statistics might not be the armor that you want to wear in terms of how it is cosmetically, and this is something that I think Origins did well. The strongest armor that you have in The Witcher 3 may not be the armor that you like the look of, and that is a downfall of the customization of the game. Although it's not that bad, because the majority of the best armor sets in the game do look really good, my favourite being the Grandmaster Ursine set, which offers the most protection and also has very good bonus abilities. The Witcher 3 also has a less diverse amount of weapons that you can use. The main weapons that you'll be using in The Witcher 3 are straight swords, one steel and one silver. There are axes and maces in the game, but swords are the most common type of weapon you will find or craft. However, there are many rarities of swords in the game, ranging from white common weapons to green Witcher gear. The same goes for armor. You can also find and craft saddles, saddlebags, and horse blinders for Roach, your horse, which means that Roach can carry more, gallop off-road for longer, and scare less easily, so that adds another layer of customization to the game. In terms of the skill tree, it's less of a tree and more of a grid. There are 4 sections that you can choose from: combat, science, alchemy, and general skills, which can all be enhanced by mutagens. I personally really like this in-depth skill system because it allows you to create builds for your character. Opposed to just being able to get all of the skills in the game, you can hand pick which skills you want so you can focus on those. Say if you want a fully combat oriented character, all of the slots would be filled with the combat skills and would be enhanced by red mutagens. Or if you wanted a balance of all of the skills, it's best to designate each area to one of the skill sets and using the appropriate mutagen where needed. The skill system in The Witcher 3 is very in-depth and well thought out, but I think that overall the customization in Origins is handled much better. There's a wider range of weapons to use, you don't have to worry about your character's appearance looking bad because outfits are purely cosmetic, and you can carry a wider range of weapons at once, which keeps the combat interesting. Crafting is a very big part of both of these games, however one takes a more simplified approach whereas the other goes fully in depth into the crafting process. So let's compare the two games' crafting systems. Origin's crafting system is overall very simple. There are crafting materials that you can find in the open world such as cedarwood, bronze, soft leather, hard leather, pelt, iron, and carbon crystals. These are found throughout the open world in a variety of different places. You can buy them, steal them from envoys, find them in bandit camps, or hunt animals for them. This is all well and good, there's plenty of materials to collect. However, the only thing you can craft with them are the upgrades for your gear. No weapon upgrades, no craftable weapons, no shield reinforcements, you can't even craft arrows with the materials available. So once you've upgraded all of your armor fully, there's nothing really else you can use these crafting materials for. It would be nice if we could apply upgrades to our weapons using the crafting materials, or if we could craft our own weapons and give them the abilities we want. This would add a whole nother layer to the personalization and customization, and it's still something that I'd love to see in the future. There isn't much to say about the crafting in Origins. It does the job and it's simple, but I just don't think they did enough with it. I'd love to see them do more with it in future DLCs or updates. So in comparison to The Witcher 3, Origin's crafting system is child's play. The Witcher 3 offers a huge variety of weapons, materials, armor, crossbow bolts, crossbows, and other items that you can craft. It's such an in-depth system, and I found myself going on mini adventures of my own trying to find the correct crafting materials to build a set of armor that I really wanted, or a powerful weapon. The crafting is actually an integral part of the game. If you want to get the best armor and the best weapons, you have to find each schematic schematic for the gauntlets, chest armor, leg armor, boots, silver sword, steel sword, and crossbow, and build the most basic version of the set. Then you need to find the schematics for the advanced version of the set, and so on until you reach the highest level the set can get, which is Grandmaster. Each increase in the set's level costs more to craft and requires rarer crafting materials, so you'll usually find yourself going a wild goose chase across the open world, which leads you to various caves, dungeons, and monster dens that contain the crafting materials that you need. Once you get all of the required resources and money to craft that final Grandmaster version of the set, the payoff is huge, because not only do you have some of the best armor in the game, but you also accomplished a monumental task that probably took you 7 hours of straight playing to achieve. It's an obvious win for The Witcher 3. The crafting system in Origins is great, it works well and is straightforward, but I found that I got a lot more enjoyment from The Witcher 3's crafting system, and for that reason it wins the crafting round. Overall, I think The Witcher 3 is still the superior open world experience in my opinion. It just has way more depth, where Origins is more simplified, and I think that it makes The Witcher 3 a much richer game overall. Origins is still an amazing game, and is actually one of the best open world RPGs I've played in recent years, but I still think that The Witcher 3 was slightly ahead of its time in many ways. Who knows, maybe the next AC game will surpass what The Witcher 3 did. I'm sure with time, open world games will surpass The Witcher 3, but it seems that Assassin's Creed Origins is not quite the game to do so. As I said, if you prefer Origins, then that's fine. It's not as if my opinions are fact. The Witcher 3 is objectively better than Origins in many ways, and Origins is objectively better than The Witcher 3 in ways too, but for the most part, it's subjective. It's all down to your personal opinion, and this video was an attempt at articulating my own. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I worked super hard on it. It's been a long time since I played The Witcher 3, so I kind of need to get back into it before making a video comparing the two, and obviously it took a long time to get all the gameplay for this. There's a specific shit that I talked about, so a like would be much appreciated, and if you disagree with my opinions, then be sure to go ahead and tell me why in the comment section below, as I said earlier in this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.